Reddit users, please share your would you move to the US if given the chance? Why or why not? My American mother believes that everyone would move to the United States if they could, and she has stated that when in Europe everyone she talked to has said as much. Frankly, I doubt that, so I figured I'd ask you lovely folks yourselves. So would you give up your country for ours? I'm genuinely curious. In my opinion, your mother's idea of Europe is outdated by a few decades. It propagates stereotypes formed during the Cold War when USA was relatively unscathed by World War II compared to Europe. It's more of a two-way street between Finland and USA these days. I do know people who've moved to USA, especially people from the IT and entertainment industries who have attractive opportunities in the far bigger economy of USA. I also know a number of American-Finnish mixed couples who we can presume to know anything there's to know about both present-day USA and Finland, and have specifically chosen to settle in Finland. The work-life balance being particularly problematic in USA. Yes, very high-paying job, it's cool, but what would I do with all that money if I had much less time to spend it and enjoy life? I think I would really miss the safety here, both physically and financially. If I lose my job, I know I will be fine. If I get sick, I know I will be fine. And it seems like we worry less about guns or walking home alone at night. I also don't like driving a car. Sweden. No, I hate driving and I like having actual vacation time. Also, I'm in the pharmacy business, and the extremely American Reddit pharmacy is basically just continuous horror stories. The other thing is that looking into that pharmacy sub is a little like looking into an alternative reality. Pharmacies in the US works completely different from here in Sweden. We never deal with insurance, and all digital prescriptions are available at every pharmacy in the country, so we never deal with those transfers people talk to. And I keep getting the impression there are long wait times. Here, once you get to the counter, you get your medicine in minutes if there are no complications like licenses, or you are getting like 10 things at one, or the doctor has messed up a dosage/interaction and needs to be contacted. Oh, and we don't count pills, it's all prepackaged. And pharmacies are only selling health and beauty stuff. You can't get ice cream or cigs or whatever. So as a pharmacy tech, aside from helping out when the prescription queue gets long, you are primarily in charge on non-prescription medicine and other products. My day mostly consists of giving advice about eye drops, painkillers, and cough medicine, and helping people pick out skincare products. Plus, customers are better behaved here. Sure, they can be rude, but I've never been yelled at or threatened. If I wanted to move to another country for a few years for a better salary, I'd go to Norway. United Kingdom. I had a 3-year visa to live in America. I left after 1. Belgium. If the chance includes a very high salary in New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, or Chicago, I'd definitely grab the opportunity. But not for the rest of my life, and there are definitely places I'd prefer moving to, like Switzerland or London. No. I mean, I will never say never. Maybe an outstanding offer to work for a cool company in a good area comes and I might change my mind, but my initial response will always be no, even for a larger salary. I've lived in the US for a year, in California. In general, the cons of living in America is that I just don't like the culture, the individualism, the competitiveness, the lack of public transportation, how unsafe it is compared to Europe. The advantages are, salaries and your wealth will of course be higher, even accounting for differences in cost of living and lack of socialized healthcare among other things. Everything is much more convenient, English everywhere makes it far more easy to communicate when traveling, American universities are in general pretty good, etc. But in my honest opinion, the number one reason I didn't adapt, and the reason I'm willing to live on half or less of the salary and the wealth I would have as an American, is the peace of mind that comes from living in a place where I know even low-skilled labor is living more or less fine. I don't feel sorry for the cashiers in Aldi, for the McDonald's worker, like I felt sorry for these people in the US working on Walmart and MCD. It made me feel guilty to be making a lot more money while these people had to work 15-hour days and barely afford food or rent and healthcare. I like knowing that my barber, my waiter, the gas station worker, they are not going to be rich, but they're going to have an okay roof over their heads, Their kids will have access to university, they can go to the doctor, and they will have some time off to enjoy a vacation somewhere. All of that being said, the US is not a bad place to live, and is not the post-apocalyptic capitalist hellhole that Reddit paints it to be. It's just that the people and the culture have a different philosophy, a different approach to life than what I enjoy. My friend of mine went 1 year on exchange to an American high school. He filled out some form over there and marked his race as white. A teacher pulled him aside and said something along the lines of, "Look, I know you're white passing, but that doesn't mean you're white," and just like that, he became a Latino for a year. Spain. At first, I was going to say that if they offered me a very high salary, yes, but after some consideration, I don't think I would move to the US even for that reason. I don't know if this is true or not, but the impression we have in Europe of life in the US is that it is very competitive. I'm a pretty laid-back, non-competitive person. I like to work without having the feeling that my colleagues are enemies or that my economic stability depends on sacrificing my personal life and outperforming others. I don't think I could adapt to that. In general, the whole idea of the American dream stresses me out. I have only been to the US once, as a tourist in the Florida area with a stop in New York, and my first experience upon arrival in the country was quite negative. Before traveling, we fill in a compulsory form with questions such as "you belong to a terrorist organization," and that sort of thing, and my girlfriend wrote that she was white, but at the airport they decided that she was Latina. And she disagreed. Anyway, I don't understand the obsession with categorizing people by race. In Europe, normally only your nationality is taken in consideration. I'm not saying that we are free of racism, just that I had the feeling that in the US it was a more institutionalized problem. We would like to have a family in the future, and Spain and Europe in general is a very safe place where children are not trained to know how to act in case of a shooting. The only guns I have ever seen in my life were holstered and in the waistband of a policeman, who knows he can only use it as a last resort and who works without fearing for his life at every moment because he knows that people don't have guns. All the rhetoric about having guns to defend against bad guys who have guns instead of banning guns for everyone makes me sick. Two slightly sillier reasons that I hated during my stay in the US: tipping and the fact that labels don't include VAT. Please pay waiters what they deserve. When I go out for dinner or shopping, I don't want to have to do maths. TV and film gave the impression of America being amazing, and when I was a kid I wanted to live there. Then as I got older I understood how rose-tinted that view was. I'm American and had the same experience. I'm a non-skilled working-class young man with a well-paid, unionized job with good hours. I would not be in that position in the United States. I would not want to be a working-class young American, not in a million years. Scotland. People say all sorts just to be nice, but in my opinion I wouldn't. I'll admit the atmosphere in a lot of American places seems really cool and uplifting, but it seems depressing having to do your taxes and not knowing if you're gonna end up losing a load of money simply from just getting an illness or injury completely out of your control. Even little things like going to the shop and not knowing the full price seems like an inconvenience. Friends, thank you for watching. Please share your stories below in the comments and see you on the next videos. Have a good day.